Sirens in the night, missiles rising from southern Lebanon. From Haifa to Tel Aviv, millions now within range. Hezbollah's arsenal still holds thousands of rockets. One launch, one breach, and the heart of Israel will bleed. Because in this war, no place is safe. As tensions escalate along Israel's northern border, the biggest concern for Israeli military planners is not just Hezbollah's fighters, but its vast missile arsenal. Despite months of Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon, the Jerusalem Post reported on March 12th that Hezbollah still possesses thousands of rockets and missiles, including more than 1,000 long-range systems capable of striking deep inside Israel. That means large parts of the country are now within immediate range. One of the most vulnerable areas is central Israel, including the country's economic and political heartland around Tel Aviv. According to security assessments, Hezbollah possesses missiles such as the Fateh-110 and the M-302, which have ranges of roughly 200 to 225 kilometers. From launch sites in southern Lebanon, these missiles can easily reach Tel Aviv and nearby cities. That places Israel's most densely populated region at risk. The greater Tel Aviv metropolitan area is home to millions of people and hosts critical infrastructure, including financial centers, airports, military bases, and technology hubs. Any successful strike in this region could have major economic and psychological consequences. Cities closer to the Lebanese border remain the most exposed. Locations such as Haifa, Nahariya, and communities across the Galilee are within range of both Hezbollah's short-range rockets and its longer-range missiles. In recent days, air raid sirens have repeatedly sounded across northern Israel as rockets and drones were launched from southern Lebanon. The port city of Haifa, which hosts major industrial facilities and Israel's key naval base, is considered a high-value target. Hezbollah also possesses precision-guided missiles like the Fateh-110 and its Syrian variant, the M-600, with ranges of about 250 to 300 kilometers. These weapons can strike almost anywhere north of Jerusalem. That effectively places much of northern and central Israel within Hezbollah's strike envelope. While Hezbollah's attacks are currently focused on the north and central regions, the group's longer-range capabilities mean even southern parts of Israel could theoretically be targeted. Some assessments suggest Hezbollah has access to Scud-type missiles with ranges between 300 and 700 kilometers. Such systems would allow strikes on cities such as Ashkelon or even the southern port of Eilat, though analysts believe Hezbollah's stocks of these longer-range weapons are more limited. The growing missile threat comes as the Israeli military strengthens its northern front. Israel Defense Forces Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir has ordered the Golani Brigade, one of Israel's most experienced combat units, to move from Gaza to the Northern Command. The redeployment signals that Israel may be preparing for deeper ground operations inside Lebanon if fighting with Hezbollah intensifies. Meanwhile, Israeli air defenses, including Iron Dome, David's Sling, and the Arrow system, remain on high alert. For millions of Israelis living from the Lebanese border to Tel Aviv, the missile threat is no longer theoretical. It is now an immediate reality. Some of Israel's most sensitive military and intelligence installations came under fire as Hezbollah launched a sweeping overnight assault targeting sites from the Lebanese border all the way to the outskirts of Tel Aviv. The deepest and most significant strike hit the Glilat base, roughly 110 kilometers from the Lebanese border, headquarters of Military Intelligence Unit 8200, Israel's most elite signals intelligence outfit, comparable in function to America's NSA. Hezbollah said it struck the base with a barrage of precision missiles. The attack was part of a wider operation the group called Operation Devoured Straw, carried out jointly with Iran's Revolutionary Guards, hitting multiple high-value military targets in a single coordinated and deadly wave. Nahariya was struck twice in rapid succession. At 12:10 a.m. on March 12, a drone swarm hit the settlement. As the Israeli officials were trying to catch their breath, 35 minutes later, a second wave of rockets and drones followed. At 5:15 a.m., Hezbollah turned its fire on the Meron Air Base, the nerve center for monitoring and managing Israeli air operations in northern Israel, claiming a drone strike that damaged at least one radar system. The Beit Lid base, which hosts training camps for the Nahal and paratroopers brigades, was hit with precision missiles, as was the Atlit naval base south of Haifa, home to the Special Operations Unit Shayatet-13. Israel's military confirmed that an isolated failure in its air defenses allowed missiles to strike a satellite station in Ramleh. The IDF responded with strikes on Hezbollah command centers and weapons sites in Beirut's southern suburbs, with a senior Israeli official warning the two sides were headed towards serious escalation. Lebanon's health ministry said Israeli strikes have killed 634 people since the war began, including 91 children, with 1,586 wounded. Hezbollah says its fighters continue to defend border towns against Israeli attempts to push into Lebanese territory. The skies over the Middle East lit up in violence again as Hezbollah fired an opening salvo of 100 rockets into northern Israel on part of a barrage that would grow to at least 150 launches over several hours, marking one of the heaviest single assaults since the group entered the conflict 12 days ago. The Lebanese militant group named the operation Devoured Chaff, a reference to a Quranic verse describing an invading army destroyed by divine intervention. Air raid sirens sounded across Haifa, Acre, and the Krayot area, with alerts later spreading south to Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and the coastal plain as rockets were detected, launching simultaneously from Lebanon and Iran.
Over the past 24 hours, and especially in the last few hours, the firing towards Israel from Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon has continued. The attempt to expand the launches to many areas across the country is a direct response to the extensive and deep damage and the pressure we are exerting on them, and this pressure is increasing day by day.
According to the Israeli media, 5 people were injured when a rocket scored a direct hit on a private home in the Galilee. Israeli paramedics described arriving to find a building with destruction, shrapnel, and smoke. A rocket was also intercepted over central Israel, with interceptions triggering loud explosions audible across the country. The Israeli military said its warplanes were simultaneously striking rocket launch platforms and infrastructure across Lebanon. In Beirut, the IDF hit what it described as high-rise buildings used by Hezbollah for planning operations, including what Defrin called the headquarters of the air arm of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in the Lebanese capital.
We completed a wave of strikes on high-rise towers in the heart of Beirut. These are towers that Hezbollah used for planning and advancing terror operations. In effect, they turned them into terror towers in the middle of the civilian population. One of the central terror towers we struck was the headquarters of the Air Force of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Beirut. This headquarters was used to carry out terror activities by the regime's air arm through its proxies in Lebanon.
The violence did not stop there. In the early hours of March 12th, an Israeli strike on Beirut's Ramlet al-Baida seafront killed at least 6 people, with some reports putting the figure higher. Footage from the scene showed damaged cars, bloodstains on the ground, and emergency personnel combing through the wreckage.
We are striking Hezbollah and Iran continuously. It is important to emphasize, follow the instructions of the Home Front Command only. The IDF is prepared with strong defensive measures and will do everything necessary to protect the citizens of Israel. I say from here to all our enemies, anyone who tries to harm us will pay a heavy price.
Lebanon's health ministry says Israeli strikes have killed 634 people since March 2nd, including 91 children, with over 1,500 others wounded in the strikes. Some 800,000 people have been displaced. Hezbollah began targeting Israeli military sites on March 2nd, following the killing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in a joint US-Israeli strike. Israel launched its military campaign in Lebanon on the same day, before starting a limited ground incursion in the south on March 3rd. Israel and the United States launched their joint military operation against Iran on February 28th. The conflict has since drawn in militant groups across the region, with rockets and missiles now a near daily reality for the region. A missile struck Israel's SES satellite communications station in the Ha'ela Valley, just south of Beit Shemesh, damaging critical infrastructure linked to global satellite operations. Israeli police confirmed that the damage was caused by a missile launched by Hezbollah during the latest round of cross-border hostilities. Authorities said the strike hit infrastructure connected to the satellite ground station, though the full extent of the damage is still being assessed. The SES facility in the Ha'ela Valley is part of the ground network that supports satellite communications, linking space-based satellites with terrestrial networks that handle broadcasting, data transmission, and secure communications. According to Israeli media reports, emergency services and security personnel were dispatched to the area shortly after the strike. Police confirmed that fragments from the missile impact caused structural damage at the site. The Ha'ela Valley facility plays an important role in Israel's satellite communications ecosystem. Ground stations like this one connect satellites in orbit to users on Earth, enabling everything from television broadcasting to internet connectivity and data relay services. CS, the global satellite operator linked to the facility, runs one of the world's largest satellite fleets, providing communications coverage across multiple continents. While officials have not yet confirmed whether satellite services were disrupted, analysts say the strike highlights the strategic importance of such ground infrastructure. Unlike satellites themselves, which are difficult to target in orbit, ground stations are fixed locations and can become vulnerable during military conflict. The missile attack comes amid a wider escalation between Israel and Hezbollah along Israel's northern front. In recent days, exchanges of fire have intensified, with rockets, missiles, and drone attacks targeting areas across Israel and southern Lebanon. Israeli defense officials have repeatedly warned that Hezbollah possesses a vast arsenal of precision-guided missiles capable of striking sensitive infrastructure across the country. Security analysts say communications hubs, power stations, and military facilities could all become potential targets in a broader confrontation. The strike near Beit Shemesh is particularly significant because it occurred in central Israel, far from the immediate northern border where most of the fighting has taken place. This suggests Hezbollah may be expanding the geographic scope of its attacks. Authorities have not yet reported casualties from the strike. However, security around strategic infrastructure sites across Israel has been tightened as officials assess the implications of the attack. For Israel's defense establishment, the incident underscores a growing challenge. Modern warfare is increasingly focused not only on military bases and frontline targets, but also on the technological infrastructure that underpins communications, intelligence, and national security. As the conflict continues to evolve, the strike on the Ha'ela Valley satellite station is likely to raise new questions about how vulnerable critical communications networks are during wartime.